Water. Got our energy drink. These are very healthy for you. This is a small patch, 185 megabytes. It has a lot of different balance change things going on with it. So some of them we already know, some of them we already don't. I just scoped through it real quick already, take a look at it. And some of the stuff looks actually really good for PvP mainly. That's the increased AP gains from objectives. So for me, basically what PvP has been and why I haven't been doing it much is I like objective PvP. I like big scale PvP. I like small. I like solo. I like it all. But basically every faction just turtles up in their keep. They just sit in their keep and they just wait for someone to attack, and then boom, they faction stack that keep. You know, they get a D-tick. They're happy because they can just use the NPCs to kill you, and they don't have to siege, and they're just, you know, oh my god, they're just so happy. And it's just miserable. Like, if you're trying to play objective, you're trying to win your campaign, you're trying to siege, when a faction stacks and just literally they won't move the map. They won't siege a keep, a resource, outpost, nothing. They will sit in their keeps with scouts everywhere on the map. And as soon as you move on one thing, I'm talking 3 people. I'm talking you, your buddy, and a friend. Go take a resource, 20, 25, 40 dudes show up. That's not fun. I ain't playing. Later. I'm out. I'm not playing that. It's just not fun. I mean, yeah, everyone gets zerged down. I've done my fair share of zerging. I'm not going to lie. I've zerged the crap out of people. But at the end of the day, I don't always do it. And when I'm getting zerged down because there is zero incentive to actually siege keeps, I'm not playing PvP. Well, okay, shut up, Deltia. This is actually a really positive change. Now, here's what I have a problem with is, like, is this too much AP? Is this too much where people are just going to go to empty keeps and just be PV Doran to get their AP, get their Grand Overlords? I mean, because if you factor in the AP boost and, you know, if you take, like, resources by yourself, and you can do that easy with a quick build, I mean, you can make good AP doing this. But, I mean, it's a really positive change. I really think so. That giving, I mean, 6K AP, that's not bad. I mean, you know, it's going to spread out the faction stacking, hopefully. But, or it's going to make it, you know, even worse. But it's just, I'm not playing Cyrodiil right now because the faction stacking. Or if I go to somewhere else, it's just completely dead. So you have dead campaigns or you have faction stacking. It's been terrible lately. I just haven't played. 3 weeks, boom, gone, done. It's not fun. Really excited about this change. That's the first change I'm really excited about. I think that's a good positive change. But, you know, it could get exploited just like anything. So hopefully I have to see what that is. Tree maneuvers, fix an issue with that. Good. So they posted this last week, but we'll go over it again in detail. Anyways, class balancing. So what they added here, which I like, is the developers' comments. So, like, you know, hold on. Everyone hates sauce, right? Everyone hates sauce, and it's cool and it's fun to hate on people. And it's 2017. Let's stop the hate and give some props where it's due. Actually putting in developers' comments what the reasoning behind the change is, good job. That's what a company should do. They should look at their consumers and go, hey, this is why we did this. Not just we did this, buy it, and, you know, lap it up like a dog. This is great. A great sign. Seriously. I would suggest, you know, going in and letting them know, hey, that's actually useful for us as players to know why the hell you did it. Even if you don't even agree with it. I think that's a great change. So, anyways, just wanted to say that. Fiery grip, no longer dodgeable. That's huge, making this a much more reliable ability to use. I like that. They nerfed the expedition from 8 seconds down to 6. I mean, that's not really going to be a big problem. I mean, most of the time you're snared anyways or immobilized, so I don't see, you know, how that's going to be a big nerf. But the fact that it's no longer dodgeable is really nice. Some other good changes. Dragon Leap. this damage and knockback from the ability is more of can no longer be dodge. But something that said a little bit later is that like if you're out of the range of it or the person leapt from max distance, you can still dodge it. So I don't know where that threshold begins of where you can dodge it, where you cannot. You know, that'll be interesting to see where that's at. Deathstroke went up in ultimate cost to 70. I mean, it's a nerf, but the ability is still just crazy powerful. A good change here is increasing the damage from Twisting Path by 32%. So that's pretty good in terms of Magic Nightblade DPS. I mean, it's not going to make the class, you know, the best or anything, but that's a good change. So I like that. Biggest change, biggest props I got to give them here is going back on Haunting Curse to make it more so like Malicious Curse, where there's a 3.5 and an 8.5. I mean, that is strong, both in PvP and PvE now. So, I mean, hey, they did listen. That was my biggest problem with the Sork this patch, and now that there's 2 blow-ups, I'm excited about that. P Templar, Binding Javelin, reduced the cost list by 20. It was pretty high cost, 20%. That's a big change. Biting Jabs, reduce the cost of this ability, and it can no longer be dodge, and that's a snare. Crescent Sweep now deals physical instead of magic, so we're gonna need to test that, the viability of that. Still doesn't have a stun component to it, but it's like an AOE end cap, is what Fosso said, and that's a good way to summarize it. The thing that makes Crescent Sweep really strong is obviously the ultimate cost is low, but that it can proc the Adric Spear Pass with Burning Light. So on the tooltip, you know, you see Crescent Sweep, you're like, man, that's not that much damage, but if it procs Burning Light, I mean, that's going to hit hard. Those 2 things hit hard. So, I mean, it's super low cost AoE. It does bug out sometimes on elevation, but I think that's a good change for, like, you know, build diversity. So I'm excited about that. Backlash. No, okay, increase the amount of damage by this ability, and it's morph to 20% from 18, so that a 2% gain? Initial damage this but now contributes to the copy damage. Okay. This copy damage is no longer reduced by Battle Spirit. Oh, okay. So we have to test that. I mean, 2% more damage? We'll have to see what that is. Good thing they listened directly from maybe, I don't know, this stream or others, but increase the buff, the duration of the buff granted by this passive from 4 seconds to 5, and that's what I was talking about with the bow, and that's just unreliable with the snipe. Is that your stacks when you're doing bow attacks? If you use an ability and you light attack in between, you get a passive that kind of perks up your damage. The problem was that it was like if you screwed up one thing, bar swap, whatever, you know, it was really hard to come back from that. They nerfed Eye of the Storm by 10% damage. I think that's good. Still going to be really strong, still going to be really useful. They left the other one the same, so that way, you know, if you wanted the ground-based one, you could. Wrath. Now, this is interesting. So basically, it's their way to counter heavy armor's damage boost. So this passive now increases your weapon damage. Basically, they lowered... in total, you still get the same amount of damage from this. And I'm looking at Wrath right here. So let me pump the screen up a little bit. Oh. So the passive now increases your weapon damage by 5 and 10 for each stack, down from 10 and 20, but it stacks up to 20 times. So the idea here behind that is it's going to take a lot longer time in the mix, in taking damage, to actually see that spell damage, weapon damage increase. Meaning that heavy armor is going to have a less likelihood of being offensively successful. I still don't like it, but they give their reasoning, and another reason why I support this type of stuff from the developers is explanations. Explanations. Thank you. So they want to help promote a berserker-type gameplay with heavy armor. Basically, the people in Skyrim that love wearing heavy armor run around with two-handers and feeling badass. That's fine. I get that. What else did I see? Oh, reduce the duration of major vitality potions down to 12 seconds. So this is a really strong change, along with, I saw earlier, or later, they changed basically the Malabeth set to be major vitality too. Those are two specific things that PvPers that actually give a shit about the game, that actually want to make the game more balanced and competitive, not just make themselves look good. But people that actually care about the balancing and competitiveness of the game have given Zoss feedback on. It's too strong. Major vitality, major mending, and then 30% from your Malabeth. No wonder they're all running around with Malabeth reactive builds. They nerfed Trainee into the ground, so rip that set. Black Rose, they nerfed it a little bit, not enough really to make it, you know, not usable, so that's probably good. Reduce the damage from Tremor Scale. Good. Good change. Why do I use Tremor Scale? It's ridiculously good. I mean, it is. So now that it can't crit, and now that it got reduced in damage by 10%, really, really strong changes. I like that. I like that. That's good changes. And that hurts some of my builds. I mean, it really does, you know? So I got my little Stamplar here. Now, it's not my actual dude on the live server because EU has their characters on there. So